What's this got to do with me?
So the immune system. We've been talking about the immune system and the sick curve and what antibodies are. So today we've got the immune system, and the immune system has some players in it. So one of the players is this evil pathogen. Oh, he's very angry. Urgh. This is a pathogen. And a pathogen is any foreign material. And remember that the pathogen has a chemistry that is not equal to your body. So that's what a pathogen is. A pathogen could be a virus, it could be bacteria, it could be fungus, or it could be some living thing like a parasite of some sort. And so these pathogens enter the body. So the immune system starts with infection. And in infection, you have some sort of a bad pathogen. So let's say here's our bad pathogen. He's looking very evil. He's not too happy about things. And somehow that pathogen has to get into the body. And it gets there through the holes. So it can get there through your eyes and your mouth, your skin. If you get a hole in your skin, like a cut of some sort. But it gets into your body. And the pathogen starts doing some harm. There he is, there's his horns, and he starts harming the body, doing bad stuff. So this is the pathogen. Now, luckily, your body has a hero, and that hero is dun, 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 your white blood cells. And your white blood cells will recognize that the pathogen is doing something bad, and it will attempt to devour it. It will attempt to destroy it. So let's see. Here's our white blood cell. There's a little nose. Now, he's going to start to eat the pathogen. He's very happy about this. This is his whole job in life, is to find these pathogens and to eat them. So here's our little pathogen. He's inside. He's none too happy. And he's being all munched up. Now, after that pathogen gets munched up, little bits of him get stuck to the outside. And these are called antigens. Now, these antigens are very, very important because those antigens trigger the helper T cells. Now, the helper T cells start to multiply. They undergo mitosis, and we get a whole bunch of these great T cells. Remember, they're dividing like crazy. And they're all very happy with their jobs. So these are the helper Ts. Now, the helper Ts have a couple of jobs, and they do it at the same time. So one of the things they're going to do is they're going to find their big cousin, the killer T cells. He's got some really sharp teeth. These are the killer T cells. And so they will activate the killer T cells, and they will also activate the B cells. Now, the killer T's and the B cells have two different jobs. In your body, you're going to have some cells that are infected. So here's a cell, and he's kind of sad, and he's kind of weepy, and he's very sad. And we'll give him a little. He's got a headache, and he's ill. And he is full of viruses. In this case, the viruses are multiplying like crazy inside of him. Now, of course, as you know from the lytic cycle, if the virus gets out, if the cell bursts, the viruses gets out, then they're going to, of course, infect lots of other cells. So the killer T cells come along and they destroy them. So here's our killer T's, and they got this big mouth. And what they do is they poke holes into this cell. The cell starts to leak, but eventually this cell will die, and none of the viruses will come out. Yay! So all of those infected cells in your body, they get destroyed by these killer T cells. Now, at the very same time, you've got these B cells. Here's these B cells, and they're doing their thing. And what they're going to do is they're going to start to make a whole bunch of antibodies. And these antibodies are specific to the infection that you have. So in this case, if this is the flu virus, then these antibodies are going to be for the flu. If this was a common cold, like the rhinovirus, these antibodies would then be for the rhinovirus. Now, the antibodies do a great job of tagging the bad guy. So remember, here's our bad guy. He's very evil. He's got some really sharp teeth in there, and he's going around trying to do some things. But what's going to happen is these antibodies are going to attach to them. So here's an antibody, and it actually might have a few antibodies on it. And those antibodies will then allow a couple of things. They might allow the killer T cells to come along. Here's our killer T cells. They'll come along. And they're really good. And they're going to attack, and they're going to maybe kill this particular virus. They're going to attack all those pathogens that are in the body, and they're going to destroy them. Or maybe what's going on is our evil pathogen with their antibodies attached to them. And maybe they're going to attract our hero, who is the white blood cells. And the white blood cells are going to come along. Here's our hero, the white blood cell. He's very happy to be doing his thing. And he's going to come along. The white blood cells are going to come along, and they're going to destroy the pathogen. Or something else that could happen. Here's our pathogen, and he is again doing some evil things here inside the body. He's trying to infect us. And there he is. But of course, he's got some antibodies, again, specific to him, and they're attached to him. And what might come along is something we haven't seen yet, and that is a spiky protein. A spiky protein, and the spiky protein will destroy those. So in the end, you've got this entire immune army. You've got your heroes. These are white blood cells. You've got our killer T cells. Big killer T cells. So here's our killer T cells. Or you might have your spiky proteins, and they're going to be destroying all of the pathogens in your body. And when they're all working together with the antibodies, which of course have tagged these pathogens, they're going to make you feel much, much better, and they're soon going to win the war. Now, once that war against this pathogen is over, then what you're left with are some memory cells and your antibodies. And remember, you've got those antibodies, and the antibodies have a couple of ends to them. Remember that this side will attach to your immune cells, and this side, let's say it's something that looks like that, that's going to be going to attach to your particular pathogen. So this here is called an antibody. And those antibodies and these memory cells are going to float around, and they're going to be able to recognize the pathogen if it comes back again. So remember, this memory cell is for, let's say, pathogen A. And this antibody is for pathogen A. And you would need a whole new memory cell, and this is going to be for pathogen B. Maybe it's a different flu, maybe it's a cold, maybe it's some other virus. And of course, you're going to have your antibody, but this antibody might have a completely different look to it. Okay, and this is going to be for B. So here's our antibody.
New Cupid.